Hey there! Today we're going to look at this pen, the Syahi Monarch. Nice pen, made of wood. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll do a writing sample. I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about the Syahi Monarch. Syahi is Urdu for ink. And this pen came with this, I actually don't think it's real leather. I could be wrong. It doesn't smell like real leather to me, but then what do I know? So I don't know if all these pens come with this or if this was just for me to review it, but in any case, there is this, so this must be an option for you to purchase. Quality control thing, which is rather nice. And then there is the box, and the box is pretty big. It has a comfy bed for the pen and has a little smuggling compartment at the bottom. The smuggling compartment, of course, suggests that this is part of the whole package. So there is that. Now let's talk about this pen. Before I forget, because sometimes I do, let's look at this pen in comparison to a Lamy Safari. And as you can see, the Syahi is a bit girthier, right? But about the same size in length. Okay. The nice thing about these pens is that they are handmade, and something that I really like is that they have a large range of nibs. You can get extra fine all the way through double broad. In steel you can get a semi-flex steel in fine or medium. You can get a 14 karat nib in fine, medium or broad for $80 extra. And you can get a 14 karat semi-flex fine medium nib for $80 extra, and $80 extra for 14K gold is not that bad in my mind, because I see a lot of companies who are now charging $150 or $180 for a gold nib upgrade. So there we have it. This particular pen is made of Mexican rosewood. I love rosewood. I think it's a very nice warm wood. It looks very nice to me, and I really like that. As I said, these are all handmade, so this is not a kit pen. Okay, parts of the pen. Top of the pen, the finial, the cap there, same material as the rest of the cap and body, which I like. We have this clip, which is rather springy and quite nice. A center band that says Syahi and has the logo of 4 nibs that is also on, say, the box. And then we have the barrel, tapers down ever so slightly and ends in a rounded up end cap, which is not a blind cap or anything, doesn't do anything. And here we have another metal ring. Pen on caps, big threads, and a number 6 nib, in this case steel double broad. The section tapers down, flares out ever so tiny. Ever so little, yes. Barrel unscrews, reveals Schmidt converter. Can also be used with cartridges. Okay, I think that is what I have to say about this pen. Let us see how it writes. Let me zoom out a little bit, because I typically forget and then people cannot see what I'm writing. So here we have the Syahi Monarch, double broad steel, Robert Oster, blue, water, ice is the ink. Nib has a little bit of feedback, but I rather like it. Good flow. Pen keeps up pretty well with some really fast writing, which is rather nice. As to wetness, pretty wet, which is nice. Line variation, not that much. It's a relatively stiff nib, and is always very careful when you do this, right? Not a flex nib, but of course you can get these with a semi-flex nib, so this shouldn't really be an issue. If flex is what you need, purchase that nib. Reverse writing is an option. You go from, I would say, a pretty reasonable actual double broad to a good fine or a skinny medium, which is rather helpful to some people. Alright, well, that was the end of the writing sample. Let's see what I like about the pen and what I not like about this pen. Okay, what do I like, what do I not like about this Syahi Monarch? Well, there's a couple of things I really like. I like rosewood. I always have. This is a very nice, warm wood, and I think it looks really cool. I also love the size of the pen. I think it's nicely sized. It doesn't really post, but it's large enough to use unposted. Plastic section, interesting choice. You might want to have a wooden section too, but don't forget that would stain incredibly if you dip it into ink. So plastic section makes a lot of sense. I like the fact that it's a handmade pen but not a kit pen. I like that you have all these nib options, extra fine through double broad and gold and semi-flex and all that stuff. That is really cool. I really like that. There are some things I don't like so much. One thing that stood out to me is that this top ring on the cap sticks out a little bit. So it's not entirely flush with the pen, which may be a bit of an issue that would annoy some people, because I know there are some people that would be annoyed over that. So there is that. My biggest issue with the pen is something I also pointed out in my review of the Syahi, the other one, what was it called? The Crown? Yes, the Crown. Had to check that for a second. That is that these pens dry out very quickly. Now, Aziza contacted the owner of the company about that, and he said, yes, these caps are not airtight, meant to preclude problems in air travel, because if ink would get pushed out, ink gets in the cap, etc., it being wood, that would damage the pen irreparably. So once this gets stained, I suppose it's stained and your pen is damaged. Interesting choice, I understand the reasoning. The problem is, what if you do not fly with your pens? Then you're stuck with a pen that dries out quickly, and I have experience with both of these Syahi pens that after 2 or 3 days of non-use, you open the pen, it's so dry you have to prime the feed because it won't write. That would drive me insane. To some people, that may not be an issue. All I'm saying is, to me, it would be an issue. Something to bear in mind, that is what you will get. In all, I don't think this is particularly bad. Pricing seems to be pretty reasonable on these pens, so that I really enjoy. Handmade pens, that's always cool. I think there's a lot going for it. So the bottom line, nice pens, relatively nicely priced, I would say. Nibs work well, nice range of nibs, so a lot to choose from and a lot of positive things. A kind thank you to Syahi for sending over the pen. I really appreciate it, guys. I hope this was useful, and I'm glad to see you later. Bye bye.